Adrian Biddle, Melissa Bartlett, and you boy, Kerry Bixby. It's your show. So tell us what you want to talk about. It's that the Round Table podcast show.
Yeah. Here we are once again, my friends. It is the At the Round Table podcast show. We are live and direct on a Wednesday evening. What's going on, everybody? Man, I'm gonna tell you, it's one of those things. Ooh, yes. Got all these beautiful people on here right now. So let me go ahead and do my due diligence to introduce them. I'm going over here and I'm gonna point like this because she is right there with the dope shirt on. You know, war on injustice. Fists up, you know it. It is Miss Pitbull in the dress, Miss Melissa Bartlett, aka the Broom Queen, y'all. What's going on with you?
Good evening. Hello, my brothers. It is Wednesday.
Yes.
I'm not going to say hump day. I'll say midweek day, you know. And yeah, I'm so proud to be here again. So proud to have celebrated and partake in celebrations of birthdays. People are blessed having another journeys around the sun this last week of July. And I could not wait to get back to see my brothers. War on Justice, proudly serving War on Justice. If you get a chance to go to Montgomery, Alabama, please check out the museum. It is breathtaking. It literally, you're just in awe of how they have it set up. Probably one of the dopest parts is there's these jail-like cells, not even jail cells. They're just, and they have these imageries in black and white of some of the slaves that are speaking. And it's like they're activated when you walk by and they're telling the story. Like when I tell you, it just pulls you in. Yeah, it was great. So I'm doing very, very well. Very, very well. And I'm glad to see my brothers.
All right.
Sounds like a place we have to visit.
Yes.
I know that's right. Definitely. Some of that culture up in us.
Yes.
But yo, we not done yet because we have the man, the myth, the legend, the brother that knows it all, the fact checker. What more can we say about him? What's his name, sis?
His name is A Money. Because you can what? Bank on.
Hey, I appreciate it. Hey, I appreciate it, y'all. Glad to be back myself. I've been just recently celebrated a birthday for my wife, so happy birthday, my queen. Other than that, man, blessed to see another day and blessed to be here with both of you two. And lastly, the conductor himself, the one that stirs the drink, CD.
All right. Thank you for that introduction. It is so cool to be back on here with my brother and sister. Family, if you get a chance, share this right now. If you're on Facebook, go to us on Facebook Live. It is At the Round Table podcast show. We are live and direct. We are actually going to have an amazing show this evening. It is a What You Talking About Wednesday show. And the object of this show is we actually will go deep into any topic that pops up in her head, his head, your head, and we will definitely expound on it. And we got a lot to talk about today because it is Wednesday. There's a lot going on in the world. So if you get a chance, share us on Facebook Live. Check us out on YouTube Live. I'm right here on Instagram. What's going on, family? And we are about to have a What You Talking About It Wednesday show. Now, who wants to get started?
Oh, one more add in if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Also, if you haven't already, please like and continue to follow us on our our YouTube page as well. And also view us on that particular platform too.
Yes, indeed. Hey, Henrietta, how you doing? Thank you for joining on At the Round Table podcast show. If you have Facebook Live, again, go to Facebook Live, join us there. If not, you can listen right here on Instagram because we are social media savvy. Yes, we've been told we need to get up on our social media. So, again, tonight's topic is What You Talking About Wednesday show. Any topic is up for grabs. If you'd like to be on our show and join us like the Black Hollywood Squares, hit us up, DM us on Instagram, DM us on Facebook, and we will send you a link right now where you can join us right there. All right, who wants to start off this thing?
Oh, I do.
I knew you would.
Go ahead.
So I think the thing that I want to talk about is the people who, first of all, let me put this out. I'm so proud of all of our human society members that understand that mental health is important, that understand that mental health does not have a time frame. It does not have a particular description or, hey, you know what, this is what's going on. Saying that, shame on the ones who don't recognize that mental health is very, very real. It doesn't mean that it's long term, but it does mean that it happens and it's an illness. I want to talk about Simone Biles. I want to talk about people who are giving her flack, trying to say that she let the country down. I even saw an ignorant idiot post that she was a part of Black Lives Matter and it was a part to go against our country. It was a tactic. It was a strategy. Yeah, I cannot imagine. For one hand, they're saying, oh, she's a part of a team. I can't believe she's getting all this attention. She's not the only person on the USA gymnastics team. You need to talk about the other team members, to her saying, hey, I'm backing out. I can't do this mentally. And I still believe there's a slight physical injury as well. Oh, I can't believe it. She let our country down. How do you go from saying that you don't want to see a lot about her because she Black, that's all that was, to now forgetting that there's other people on the team?
Wow.
So how does she let the country down? I pray for her, and I'm proud of her for stepping back to say, I can't. Can you imagine training for something for months for COVID to hit? It gets postponed. You start training again. You get a chance to go. They're not changing 2021 for financial reasons, but they want to hype it up like we're going to keep it 2020 so we can, recognize the Olympics. You get there. You're dynamic. You are flawless. You are the GOAT. Okay. And your judges say, you're too good. So we're not going to give you your full potential scores. To the point where they say, you can't do that because other people will try to do that and it'll cause serious injury. To the, hey, we're not even going to bother scoring you. Can you imagine that? And then the media saying, oh, Simone Biles wears her mask, her proudly wearing her USA flag. All the gymnastic team had on masks with the same identical book bag, jumpsuit, and slides. Why would you single her out? Can you imagine all of this different rhetoric and stuff going on? And you're going to tell me that this young woman does not deserve to have some type of a mental weakness, illness? Please. Please.
Well, that's a money.
I'm in agreement with everything Melissa just got through saying. It's been a lot of people talking about too during our generation and prior to ours, saying that most athletes would have went ahead and just dealt with it and stuck it out and played through it. The unique thing from now till then is that you have 24-hour coverage on these icons. We're talking about Miss Biles. 24/7 coverage, let alone social media and everything. They're plastered all over the place. When our generation was coming up, they can turn off once the game was over with, and maybe after 11 p.m. that was it on the news for them. A lot of prior athletes said they couldn't imagine even having to deal with the stuff that these athletes deal with now. So, in saying that, of course, I think that your mental health is more at risk with everything being plastered all over the place. You being watched left and right. So I don't have any problem with her watching her mental or taking account for her mental welfare. Then on top of that, I remember just recently reading up on it a little further. She still is dealing with, she said in the back of her mind, she was still dealing with the issues of the sexual assault that she received from Larry Nassar from her adolescence up to her teens. So what do a person supposed to do? What do a person supposed to do dealing with all of that? And she felt that she didn't have it to actually help her team to actually get the goal. So she politely pulled herself out of it to allow them to hopefully be able to win. That's I find that very disrespectful.
Very.
Shouts out to Henrietta Middleton. She just joined us on Instagram. She says she's in 100% agreement with everything that is being said this evening. Call me. I ain't gonna say that. I'm just gonna stir the drink. Okay. So the irony of this is that it's okay for someone to be overseas representing the country years ago during the Olympics and cause a national uproar. And I'm not going to name any names because we mentioned it on the last podcast. And there was so much that went on regarding that. It kind of met a little forever, went down. They ended up getting on Dancing with the Stars. This sister has gone through quite a bit. And I think a lot of times the Monday morning quarterbacks that have the gall to sit back and make comments about her and about her being un-American and all this other stuff cannot even fathom the amount of mental fortitude and physical dexterity and exertion in order to represent this country in a positive way, in spite of everything that has been thrown against her. If these people really did their research and looked her up, because she's well known, she's the GOAT, and looked at all the things that she went through in her life to be on this platform, not once, but several times, representing this country on a world stage several times. And she felt as though she needed to step back and give her compatriots an opportunity to win gold, as well as really take care of herself and look at herself physically and mentally, and for them to say something like that. I think there are so many people that can sit there and make idle, ignorant comments. And I said it, idle and ignorant comments without really understanding, not even trying to step into her shoes and walk, not even a mile, but at least down to the corner. It is unfortunate. And that's all I got to say about it, because you know what? The more we give to these people, the more they think they have a platform to stand on.
And I wonder if she wasn't African American, she and the young lady is a tennis player. And I always mess her name up, so I'm not going to try to say it.
What is it? Naomi Osaka.
Naomi Osaka. Yep.
If Naomi and Simone were not African American, would they be viewed the same way? Because it's in medical books, they've been changed within literally the last 15 to 20 years, mind you, that we are, Black women, have a higher tolerance for pain. We have a higher tolerance for any type of stressful situations, and we do not need as much anesthesia, time to heal, or anything like that as a Caucasian woman.
Ooh.
Unfortunately, even though the medical books have been updated, America has been founded on those lies. And so when our African American athletes who are on the top of the world, the top of the game, are saying, I value me more than the dollar, than publicity, than this title, instead of them being recognized as being admirable, being mature, being truly an American citizen because they are making sure they're taking care of themselves to even go longer to represent us. We are called crybabies, quitters. We are called all these things. But a Caucasian woman will have open arms, blankets, therapists lined up, handkerchiefs, everything, and say, "Oh, I can't believe it. I can't imagine the pressure she would be under because that's just great." And da 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 da. There's a whole different outlook on what she does. So I don't like to get into social media back and forth, but I was ready for anybody who was ignorant because what you're not going to do is stress us out. Leave Shakari alone, leave Naomi alone, leave Simone alone. Okay?
Amen to that. Thank you, Terry, for making this statement, baby. She said, on the flip side, in the real world, there are no mental health days. I don't know a business that is outside of the public eye that will allow their employees to call out or leave citing mental health.
Not.
Very good point.
Not.
Very good point.
Sick days
Sick
do not
days.
include mental illness days.
But they will allow you to call into a number in order to contact a company that will send you to a possible resource for mental health for you and your family. And trust and believe, to try to contact in order to get on sometimes it's hard. But I definitely agree. There should be something to recognize that. And it's interesting because we're on the case of mental health, because this also flows into the situation with police officers and them getting further training to identify individuals with mental health, as well as how to handle them rather than being shot down, unfortunately.
As well as them taking advantage of the resource themselves.
Good point. Very good point. Hey, what's going on? It is at the Roundtable Podcast Show. It is Adrian Biddle, Melissa Bartlett, and Carrie Digsby. We are here on Facebook Live. We are talking a What You Talking About Wednesday show. In other words, you can call into the show and you can talk about anything. Join us on Facebook. Send us a link. Send us information. Whatever topic you want to talk about, we're going to talk about it here. What's going on, Natar? How you doing, beautiful? Good to see you, sis. Join us if you get a chance on Facebook. If not, go ahead and chime in right here. I'm waving at you, and let's get this thing going. We're talking about basically mental health and how they are ostracizing Simone Biles right now.
Trying.
It's not cool. Not cool.
It's not cool. They're trying, but it's not. And America, what the true meaning of it is, has rallied behind her to say no. I know there's some very hurtful and probably some very sharp comments out there, but we got you. We are here. We are here. And yeah, she'll never probably ever see this podcast, but I look at her as a little sister. No, I'm not dealing with it. And if I scroll past anything, anywhere, anybody, and they have something ignorant to say, you're a clown, and I'm going to call you that. I'm going to give you the clown emoji. You're a clown.
Clown emoji. Well, I think we need to support that, because not support that calling clowns. Let me rephrase that, okay? Because the views and expressions that are noted on At the Roundtable Podcast Show is ours. It's ours. But I think we need to support that, because support her rather, and what's going on. Because here's the thing: the message that we're sending young women and young men, and I think that's been something that has been long-standing as well. And me and my brothers were just talking about it this weekend. Is that whenever you are hurt, we were talking about like in football. In football, when you are hurt, the norm used to be suck it up and going out there.
Yep.
But then what has happened, if you think about it and you read about it and you see it, there are cases in which football players, they're having mental issues.
Yep.
And, Junior Seau.
Yep.
Okay. So, after repeated times being hit, because it's a full contact physical sport, repeated times being hit, damage to the brain, you cut the brain open, it is acting to an 80-year-old man's brain. And a lot of degradation, I misspelled it, but it's a lot going on in which it's being compounded each and every time. Pitbull has her video, so she'll join us very soon. Hopefully she can hear us and chime in as well. But yeah, I mean, these are things that needs to be addressed instead of people, sweeping it under the rug and telling them, oh, you need to be tougher, oh, you need to stick it out, oh, you need to do this. Our young people are being affected by this. And if we say this to Simone Biles and other individuals, then what's going to happen?
Yeah, that is so true. Melissa said earlier, humanity. What's the key word I gathered? You threw a phrase out which is well known, is if you walked in that attempted to walk in the mile in that person's shoes. Mental health is coming to the forefront. It's an evolving for us to see and starting to recognize that it is a problem that has been not being addressed over these years, and now that it's coming to the forefront, I still can't understand why people are diminishing it as a real issue, especially in these cases that we're talking about right now.
Indeed. Terry just posted a comment I want you guys to chime in on. She said, some people are not riding for Simone because they feel that she didn't ride for Black people over the swim caps. When people called for a boycott over the Olympics banning the swim caps for natural hair, Simone said, do not boycott. What are y'all thoughts?
I think that she looks at the bigger picture, and it's not because I am Team Simone. You have to look at this. A lot of times, remember what I said, people will join in and make noise without knowing what they're doing it for. The Olympics this year has been a joke to me. I'm sorry. The way that it's been handled, in my opinion, it has not been handled the correct way. It has thrown all types of levels of having integrity and unbiasedness. It has ruined and soiled the platform for those athletes that's trained all this time to be here to perform and to show how great they are against other people who are just as equally great. We should not be talking about swim caps at the Olympics. I'm not ignoring the fact that it is definitely a targeted issue. But boycotting the Olympics is going to do what for the Olympians? And I think that's why Simone was saying, hey, you know what? Don't boycott. It has nothing to do about ride or die. We as Black people need to really, really govern ourselves when it comes down to picking something to say, well, we're not going to support them. We need to understand that there are so many things that we need to do. If we do this, we're going to be fighting every day, all day, 24 hours, 7 days a week. You need to make sure that you are targeting the roots of the problem. Are you registered to vote? Are you saving money? Are you educating yourself for financial wealth? Are you able to be efficient if you didn't have cellular devices and Wi-Fi and a TV? Are you out here making sure that you're building a community? These are the things that help have some type of influence, because if we had the persons who had Black money to have Black influence in the Olympics, we wouldn't have a problem. You want to know why they boycotted that? Yeah, because they were Black, but because they didn't have enough money. Because if that Black person who made the Black swim caps had enough money or had somebody in there that can influence financially on the Olympics, it wouldn't be a problem. And the whole story would have been spent saying, you know what, we're so proud to be able to be in an inclusion, and we have X amount, this company who provides swim caps for everyone, but it's going to be for us because of our hair texture or needing to have whatever. So I don't care about what are you going to boycott? What is it going to accomplish?
Yeah,
What are you actually getting from it?
That's true. That's true, and that's totally Simone's opinion on that. Everybody have their opinion. I'm in agreement with Melissa as well. A lot of these athletes going that are in the Olympics, it's a majority of them that have sponsorships. I say, me personally, instead of doing boycotts, pressure the people that's actually paying for the ads, that's sponsoring you. You use that method and others to help promote the swing caps. Maybe not this year, but going into next year, something like that. But I really don't see anything that would have been gained from the boycott if she would have participated in that, or as a whole for any other athletes.
Yeah, making noise.
Mm-hmm.
Do something with a purpose. You know what I mean? And that's why we're not taken seriously, because everybody take to the streets. They, have a sign. They march. And I'm not talking about those who riot. They march. They make a statement, and then it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
And those, at least 50% of those people who were outside wanted to feel better about themselves and their lives, so they participated in the march, but they are not going back home and now implementing anything that they've gained to make sure that they could be better. If each person tries to be better for their community, we would see change faster than we could through a march.
True that.
It's powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Family, thank you for joining us on that The Roundtable Podcast Show. It is A Money, Miss Pitbull, and your boy CD on here right now. We are live on Facebook right now. If you get a chance, join us on at The Roundtable Podcast Show. Today is What You Talking About Wednesday, in which we're throwing any topic out there in the air, and you get a chance to chime in on it. If you get a chance, join us on YouTube as well. And I'm right here on actually Instagram. Shouts out to Focus Coffee. Salute. Be coming your way very soon. Definitely want to chime in on that right there, because it's interesting that you mentioned that. You said it right there, Melissa, as far as implementation and the marches and things, because we do have a habit in jumping on the bandwagon, especially when we lead by emotion and not by facts. And A Money, I know you've heard me say that several times.
Mm-hmm.
So emotional. And everybody jumps in and everybody wants to march and things of that nature. But then when the smoke clears and the fire dies down and the embers are getting cold, it's business as usual. We're trying to go back and do all these other things instead of taking what we gained when we were around each other and implement it and just say, hey, as a community, can we do this? Can we put together a co-op in order to make sure that we're not living in, areas that are barren from good food, fruits, and vegetables? Or can we put our monies together in order to maybe buy some Bitcoin in order to possibly grow exponentially and financially? Can we do all
real
these
estate? All these buildings,
Good
buy
point.
some real estate, buy the land, the vacant land. I mean, Kerry has said this so many times, and so many from the first time I met him. Like, we have the most powerful influence in this world, but especially in this country, who treats us like trash because we spend the most money, and we fuel every other group in this society except ourselves. We're the only ethnic group that don't recycle our dollars. We do not put it back into the pockets of our neighborhoods or our businesses. And you're going to sit here and tell me that you got to march, you got to boycott, and you got to beg, plead, and cry and loot to get some respect. All you need to do is cut off your money. Stop buying Jordans for 6 months and then go put that down payment on a piece of acres in your neighborhood. See how much attention you get then. You want to have attention, you want to be respected, buy something that's going to mean something. Buy something that you can pass down. Start living your life and living for a legacy instead of living for a good time and Instagram. I'm tired of it. And everybody want to sit here and talk about you're not riding for the black person. No, you're not riding for the black person, because you're not doing what you need to do to make sure that we still exist. to make sure that we still have something. I thought the pandemic was set everybody straight. It made it worse.
I was going to mention that, but you beat me
Go
to the
on,
punch as
go
usual,
on,
sis.
say it. Go on, get it, Carrie. Go on, get that pass it to you. Boop. Did I do it right, Adrian?
I got you.
You did
I got
it.
you.
You did it.
Did she do it?
Nice alley. Nice alley.
Great alley. Here's the thing that I don't understand, and from COVID, since we're y'all, this is what you're talking about Wednesday. So
Right.
the dialogue that we're going to jump on, it'll go from one to another, but the flow is amazing. So here it is. She mentioned COVID, and it seems like things have gotten worse. In a sense, it did, because it even goes back to our earlier discussion with Simone Biles and everyone, because it seems like everybody who is against these sisters that have made decisions in their lives that are representing the United States and such. It seems like when COVID came out, you thought that we would, after being in house for so long and such, that once we got out, we would actually love on each other even better and understand the plight of each other even better. And it just seems like, the floodgates have opened and people are just acting a fool. I mean, it is amazing to me the level of non-sensitivity that is going on for our fellow man today. I can say that, and sis, you can say it as well, because we both are the after effects of COVID.
Yep.
And I'm gonna tell you something. When I got done with it, glory be to God, almost losing my life, I look at everything in a whole different perception, if that makes sense. I look at my fellow man as that's my fellow man. Things that should get me really upset and riled up and everything. We just shared a situation that happened to me this week. Right. I'm looking at it like, it's all good. It'll be all right. Life goes on. The blessings will come. And some people are still on that rah, this, I've got all this money that I can just blow, instead of during COVID building businesses and being creative and pooling your resources and things of that nature. And it's like some people still, when the doors opened again and people got a chance to go down to the club and stuff like that, they just
club and crab legs. 2 important C's. Club and crab legs. That's all they want to do.
Club and crab legs. Hey, somebody post that for me real quick. Club and crab legs.
Hashtag.
Wow.
Hashtag. Club
Hashtag.
and crab legs.
Man, I'm about to share that.
I'm going to say 2 things. Number one, I want to say shout outs to 2 people that I know that currently used to work for the company that I'm working for, who resigned from the company to say, you know what, I can make my thing because I have my own business. I'm so super proud of them. Second thing I would like to say is, anybody remember this significant event that happened 2001, September 11th?
Mm-hmm.
We didn't care about what anybody looked like.
Mm-hmm.
We were both everybody was crying together. Everybody was in love with each other. We had to unite as a country. And because everybody was so shook, that seemed to have lasted a little longer than the after effects of COVID, as far as people literally believing we are the world. The times that we're living in now, society, on top of having the leadership or lack of it during this time, has made people insensitive. And honestly, it pulled and snatched, as my auntie say, your slipper showing. It snatched the covers off of your racism, and it snatched the covers off of your mental illness. And people want to shift the focus. They want to shift the spotlight, because they don't want anybody to know, or don't want nobody to see. And what happened? You had 9/11 that happened that shook this country down. It had nothing. It had nothing to do. Had nothing to give. It was just scary, and it was loving, and it was full of appreciation and respect. And you're my fellow person. And Yeah, you still had those who wanted to try to attack Muslims. You did, but for the most part, you had people who were understanding and people who wanted to say, "Hey, we got to be in this together."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
What happened? You know, now you had COVID. Okay, thank God I'm a survivor. Thank God that I am here to speak to you. Um, but yeah, you look at things in a different light. Look at things in a different way. And my experience was nothing nearly as much as my brother went through, but it could have been. And so, where do we draw the line? Like, what do we need to do? I mean, as people, as Black people, as American citizens, I mean, how many knocks on the head does it take? Like, we have been reset so many times to have a leveling playing field to
Mm-hmm.
get ourselves together, and you still not doing it. I mean, what does it take?
I don't know. I personally think that we, as a society, has opened up Pandora's box. We done rubbed the bottle, and the genie is out, and we can't put it back in. And what those phrases are alluding to is that what sells, and we always have said it on this show, negativity sells.
Yep.
That's right.
That takes away from you being able to sympathize with somebody's plight because you always seeing the negative thing in front of you, whether it's social media, television,
Mm-hmm.
radio. Everywhere you look is negativity. So the only thing that you can actually associate any feelings with is what you're being blasted with on a continuous basis. So
Mm.
I think it has to be a change in how media is being presented.
Mhm.
It can't be one sided. It can't be one sided all the time. And I don't know if it's a way to actually go back at this point.
Mm-mm.
And that's the scary part.
Mm-mm. There's no
Yeah.
way to go back. You can't go back, but we can go. We can do a reform. We can adjust. We can adapt and implement new ways. And I'm sorry, I'm gonna be real unorthodox right now. My mom ain't raised no hoe. I can't get pimped out
All right
by
Mm.
now. Okay.
That
society.
should be break. That should be breaking them, bro. She
I can't.
said,
I can't do it. You can't. You're. It's that simple. That's exactly what
"Yeah,
you are when
Hmm.
you're letting propaganda, media, materialistic things dictate to you your actual free will and your character.
That's right.
amen to that.
That's right.
Amen to that." Terry just said, "I was telling CJ that they're eliminating gender faster than they are eliminating racial issues."
Absolutely.
Now,
Absolutely.
ooh, that's another show in itself. But you know why?
Absolutely.
Because of the support that is being given and the seriousness behind it. I tell people this all the time that if during election season, if you take a look at those that come out in order to support the candidates, that's where you see the power lies. And that's where you see those that actually get their agendas pushed to the forefront and others get thrown to the side. Trust and believe.
Mm-hmm.
Watch what happens in the next election.
Mm-hmm.
Watch what happens. And she made a very good point in regards to that. All these things that we really didn't pay attention to, that we really didn't give any notice to, or we thought, hey, whatever, and stuff like that, they're getting pushed to the forefront ahead of the things that have been plaguing this country for years. And a lot of people aren't understanding it. They're
They
not.
are.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
And
Mm-mm.
that's
What's going on, Charlotte Tubes? She done shot in here and said something to her BBFF.
Hey, Money, go
Hey,
ahead.
oh well, I was just gonna say, I mean, that's even more evident like you were just now saying, Kerry, as far as certain things being pushed to the forefront while other things are being repealed, such as voting rights.
oh, yes.
So
Yeah.
I mean, I I don't believe in conspiracies, but I don't know if this is some type of social experiment or what. But it is starting to get crazier by the day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is. It
Hey,
definitely
bros, what
is.
about this? How about the attack on the Asian American and all of the
Hmm.
different violent acts?
Hmm.
And wow, my smile is not because I enjoyed it at all, because I have Asian friends, um, and actually a family.
Hmm.
Tell me why the same violent acts that happened to them have a bill, have a law passed. The bill and the law that was on the books for us that has been in pause and on stall and on we need to keep meeting on the floor took the African American, took the African and scratched it out and put Asian and passed it.
Uh,
I want to know what happened.
I tell you what happened. This is something that was told. Trying to think of who exactly said this. This was years ago, approximately 10 to 12 years ago. There was a statement that was made that was pushed out there, and this individual said it. And I was trying to remember if it was, I think it was Louis Farrakhan that made the statement. Maybe I had to go back into my notes and see, but somebody made this statement. I'll put it that way. I'm not gonna put no names to it, but I'll put it this way. Their statement was that while the African American is known as minority, there will be a new minority that will come to the forefront, and that new minority will be the Asian culture. 15 years later, it happened with that very same bill that you mentioned that got written up and put on the floor and such, because there's a shift.
And passed.
There, there is a shift that is going on right now.
Yep.
And the reason why there is a shift, no, I'm not even going to say the reason why. I'll let y'all figure it out. I'll let the public figure it out. But there is a shift that is going on.
It definitely
And
is. And we are not there is no such thing as minorities. That's still a white
that
man's
is,
world to say and make you feel less than, to make you feel
yeah.
outnumbered. We are no longer minorities. And when you tell me that you changed a couple words here and there, but the same as that bill that was put on the books to sit and protect African American people from the violence that they have been taking for years has been issued into the House and passed for Asians. You can't tell me that you don't understand the plight that the black person goes through as a country.
Mm. Well, and let me tell you, we got okay, two more comments have come up. I want to share this with y'all real quick and get y'all impression. She says, I have my personal views of homosexuality and all that, but the main problem is the flipping of the script. At first, it was all about equality and rights. Now you say now if you say anything negative or neutral, then you're wrong and homophobic. The world is forcing you to agree, especially in this country. Charlie Two said gender fluidity is no less important than racism. However, it is an important issue. You have to believe it's violent first. I love what you're talking about Wednesday. Oh my goodness. It just opens up a plethora of things to discuss. Terry just said, I think you're going too hard in the paint when you're taking away my rights to label myself as a mother or my child's birth certificate. Wow.
Or the
Wow.
sex of the child. Because that was
Here's what.
something, I don't know if that's true, but that was something else they were saying. Like, you should
Mm-hmm.
not have, you should be parent and it should just be child. So the kid can then grow into identifying what they identify with, and they're not bound by what was put on them in the beginning
I
or
That's
at birth.
um
ooh, uh,
I feel it's
I'm
a choice. I'm not scared to talk about it.
yeah.
Say something. I'm a woman. I was born a girl. I'm a female. I take all of those in consideration as far as me. Her, she, she'll, that's what you use for me. Any pronoun that reflects female gender, that's what I want you to call me. I respect those who feel like they are not what they originally was born as. I'm not going to discriminate against you. I'm not going
Mm,
to hate you. I'm not going to be deliberately or intentionally violent against you. I'm not going to look at you in a certain kind of way or differently, a different kind of, because of you, I'm not rolling my eyes, popping my lips. I'm not doing any of that because I have to respect you as a human. And see, people want to go all around a mountain. If you respect people as a human, and you respect them as a person that has blood and pull air in and out their lungs like you,
mm,
there wouldn't be a need for all of this. But you're so scared that your son or your daughter going to be influenced because they're around somebody who's gay. That's not the case. That's not true at all.
mm,
You are so scared to now, they're even feeling like sometimes these people may have some type of, pedophilia associated with them. That's not true at all. But at the same time, you don't call a spade because you're trying to hide your own dirty laundry. And that's why you have all of these people having to fight for their place in the world. We have always had to catch on to the helm of somebody else going through our rights, act, change to be recognized as Black people. That's how we got our rights because the white woman came and said, I'm important. And we just came along. They came on, they took our movement over, and we just kind of slid in like we
mm,
were in their pockets to get civil rights and get the Civil Right Act passed that it would
mm,
apply to Black people. But it still wasn't implemented. It still wasn't honored. You know what I'm saying?
mm,
Um, I feel like people who are not a supportive person of homosexuality does not make them homophobic. Okay. People who say, hey, that's just not my lifestyle. That's just not for me. You have the right to say that. And
That's
I
true.
agree with Terry. A lot of people, time you say, hey, respectfully, that's just not for me. I don't support it. I don't understand it. I don't agree with it. You know what I'm saying? I'm okay with that. You get tore down, you get all this stuff, you try to act like you're slandered. You're not saying anything about that person. You know what I'm
mm,
saying? You're not disrespecting that person. You're just saying I don't agree with it. And if you can stand on your 2 feet and say I don't agree with it, I have homosexual friends, men and women that I love dearly, that have been in my house, that have eaten dinner with me, that have been around my kids, that have been around my husband. But that don't make me less Christian. That don't make me,
mm,
somebody who I gotta go out here and wave a rainbow flag. It doesn't mean that I don't support your life, but it's just not my lifestyle. So stop trying to separate the nickels, dimes, and quarters. You know what I'm saying? Because guess what? Y'all all still coins. You all change, and some of y'all chump change. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Like,
oh, oh.
let's just call it what it is. But
Gosh,
stop
where she be coming up with these,
I
man?
don't know.
Goodness
I
stop
gracious,
have no
man.
repeating
idea.
me. I don't
Just
have
snatching
to.
them. Like,
I don't have to support homosexuality
mm,
and say, okay, I feel Terry, like that's my right. Just like it's their right. If that's the case, there should be a different kind of birth certificate. Why you got to change all certificates?
mm,
You know what I'm saying? That's my problem. Like, if you don't want to be gender bind, or what is it, gender binary, and you have this fluid, then have your own set of papers, or have it included that that's something that you can check. But I don't want what I believe in erased. Now, a lot of people are feeling like the way that they've been raised is being erased to accommodate a homosexual lifestyle. And instead of knowing how to express that, they come with a lot of ignorance in the things that they say.
good point.
Yep.
Charlie and Terry are on fire, boy. They are dropping some knowledge and notes and everything. Shouts out to Men of Destiny. Thank you for joining at the round table, brother. We're live on Facebook at this time. You're checking it out by means of the Instagram, my Instagram. If you have a topic you want to share, you got a little time, but right now it's What You Talking About Wednesday. Charlie 2 just said there are too many variables used for control, not education and or enlightening humans to be better at humanity. Charlie,
Control.
I'll be
Control.
right
That's
with you in a
that
minute.
word. Control.
Woo! That's deep right there. She said, I appreciate conversation for education, not segregation of minds. Terry said, if you're transgender, then I'll refer to you by your legal last name. You can't make me go against my beliefs by calling you something else because of how you feel. Good point. And I think, no, hey, Money, go ahead, jump in, man, because I know you got something. I need some of that. I need some of that.
Come on, A Money.
Need that.
I mean, Miss Pitbull, she did an excellent job. I mean, I don't even know how to follow that, but I do know, and I agree with most of everything she said. But I do know the key thing is overall respect. Just respecting individuals for who they are, and like she said, you don't have to agree with what they do, but as human beings, respecting one another. And it's just as simple as that.
Respect.
That's it.
Charlie 2 said, why? My last name was forced on me. Hey, Diggy, what's going on? That's my grandboy listening to his papa and his uncle and aunt on At the Round Table podcast show. I think that's the thing. You know, and I think Charlie 2 said it best about humans in control. We have a tendency to want to label everything and we want to put everything in a box and things of that nature. Here's the thing, though. The first time we was given power in order to label everything, Father told us, he told Adam, he said he lorded him over all the animals and all the fish and all the fauna. He told him to name everything. He told him to name everything. So here's the irony. He gave him that power to do that then, because he was in direct coalition. When we got out of, we made a mess out of everything. The most segregated time in the week is when? Sunday. Because we got so many different religions going on. I'm gonna tell you, in so many churches, you can go into your apartment and start a church, the Church of the Latter Day, Fish and Fowl, Ching Ching La La Ching, Episcopalian. I mean, it's just, we have a tendency to do all this stuff because we think it's right. And where Adrian hit the nail on the head, Charlie 2's threw a little bit on there as well, shaken not stirred, and Pitbull did it as well. We're forgetting about being human and loving each other. We totally forget that. Like Pitbull said, I may not agree with that. That may not be my forte. That's not my cup of tea. But I'm gonna still love you. I'm gonna love on you. I'm gonna break bread with you. We're gonna partake in some dialogue with each other. And you know why?
Shopping.
Go shopping. We can go shopping. We can watch TV, whatever it is, y'all. Here's the even with an individual that may not like the color of my skin, I'm still have dialogue with him. I may even break bread with him. If he will allow it, I'll eat food with you. I'll eat my vegan burger. You eat your hamburger.
Right.
Whatever it is. Because here's the thing. We forget that Jesus did that. And we forget that he loved us before we even loved ourselves. And he knew what we was going to be before we even came out of our mother's womb, rather. He knew it. So I think that we forget that.
We do.
Oh, yeah.
We do. And all he did, he never. Funny thing is, we read the Bible. Every time that Jesus went into a church, synagogue, or place of worship, he was confronted. He was met by confrontation. Every time. He went amongst whores, drunks, He went amongst workers.
Mm-hmm.
He went amongst the people, the land. And he says, we are the salt of the earth, not the church, not the synagogue. He mixed himself amongst the people. Why
Mm-hmm.
should we hang with us, to stay with us, and turn our backs and forsake O's and others? You
This is
can't
true.
look at this woman and this man and tell them, or you want to start shouting that they are a sinner and you're a sinner and you're going to hell and that's blasphemy. You can't say all of that. And then you literally was gossiping about your church member before you came out the door to go to the mall where you saw them.
Mm.
You can't sit here and talk. You can't say it. You can't do it. If you work on yourself and do what you're supposed to do and be a human and respect humans, we would have a better experience in society. But we're not
Mm-hmm.
being allowed to do that. We're not allowed to have these conversations. We have people who are trying to usher in censorship on you having a conversation with somebody that don't look like you or don't believe what you believe. But if you're fighting and you're about to kill each other, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And Charlie too, she's dropping some knowledge, y'all. Her and Terry are like dropping stuff. They're dropping stuff. You know, now the dialogue has come up in regards to the Bible because we have mentioned a couple of things. My fault. I'm sorry. Yes, that's another show. We definitely get in on that one as well. And Charlie just mentioned, you know, a couple of things as far as Dead Sea Scrolls. I'm a human unlimited. Amen to that. Here's the thing. Dead Sea Scrolls, good point, Charlie Toots. I'm glad you mentioned that because those are actually, if memory serves me correctly, they don't dispel the Bible, but they actually help support some of the passages and such. And we have to understand too that yes, the Bible was taken and it was rewritten. You got King James, you got NIV. It's been watered down. Very true.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very true. We understand that definitely. But if we was to go back to the original, if we had the opportunity to go back to the original, it does give us a platform. And I put it this way. It's just like the Walkman. When it was first created and China got a hold of it, they made their version. Still does the same. Sometimes it may break down. But I think that's because of us doing what we did to it and not what its intent was. Just like Facebook.
Yep.
Not trying to compare the Bible to Facebook, y'all. So I'm just want to throw it out there. But the intent originally versus how it's being utilized right now. Just like certain pastors, they go in, they read the Bible, and it's only certain scriptures that they utilize in order to get their point across. And like we say, he may mention that first scripture, but it's up to you to go and read the one before and the one afterwards in order to get the full conception.
Personal agenda.
Mm-hmm.
So, hey, Robert, what's going on, man? Thank you for joining us on At the Round Table podcast shows. What you talking about Wednesday? We've been going live and direct on here. It's been going hard. Woo, I'm tired.
Mm-hmm.
I agree, but last names right now are just your family ties. We don't look at last names and say if it's a man or a woman. Yeah, I think that's another dialogue in itself. Hey, Money, I hope you're taking notes. We're getting a lot of good topics for future shows right now, man.
Yes, we are.
Right here.
Yes, we are. Had to go back through this and write these down.
I know,
I had
right?
a message, guys, in my personal my personal Facebook that said, can we talk about the new concept between men and women in relationships? I just read a story about a gentleman who had a substantial salary and was going with a woman who did not. They went on a trip together and she did not have enough money to pay for 3 meals a day. So he ate while she was hungry. Or he gave her anything that he did not eat, like scraps for a dog. When and why and when, I'm sorry, did women feel so needed to be in a relationship with a man that they sacrificed their honor?
Woo! Well, that's another one, man.
Yeah.
Hope you wrote that one down.
That's
Goodness
a lot.
gracious.
Yeah. That's a show. That's another show in itself, right?
That's a show in itself because, to be honest with you, the same can be said about men, in which they do a lot for women and they're not greatly appreciated, and they work 2 jobs and buy the finer things for the woman and everything. And I mean, that's a relationship show in itself. Charlie, we may need you on that as well. She just mentioned, she said that is not new VBFF. Kimberly, oh man, this sister right here, y'all. This sister. This is another amazing sister right here. I can't wait for her to come back to the QC. Facebook family, Melissa, Charlie Tubes. Here's another acting spirit for you right here. She said it. Religious text can be likened to a hammer, build or tear down. Got to be careful who's holding it. She hit nail on the head. Yep. You guys, when you meet her, I promise you, you are going to enjoy her Radiance Brilliance podcast show. She is the host. She is amazing as well. I can't wait to have her on here live. I've been trying to get her, and she just chimed in, so it's about to happen. I'm calling it right now. Steady relationships, that is not new. Hey, you know it.
It's not, but that's where, and this is a millennial, so you know,
it may be very well new for them.
Yeah. That's on him or her. She knew she was like that before they went. We are not blaming men anymore. It's 2021. We either equal or we're not. Ooh.
Ooh.
Sherry said, look. and we're not blaming anyone. The situation was out there. Like, how does this happen? I'm never going anywhere without money. I mean, that was just mothering 101. You know what I'm saying?
That's
you
right.
Don't go under thinking that he's going to do this. Now, if we're going together, I guess my issue is we're going together. We go on a trip, and you could eat and see me hungry. That's not the dude for you.
Absolutely.
You go away on a trip, and you already knew you couldn't afford it. That's not the trip for you. Like, there's just a whole bunch of variables that we could take apart from that scenario. I teach my daughters, let me tell you something. You better have your own. That way, when he got you, you're good. Because it may be a situation, something can happen. I remember back in the day, I went out with a young man, and he literally, honestly, lost his wallet. And he didn't realize that he lost it or dropped it until it was time to pay. Because of him being who he is, and because of him having the type of character that he did, I had money, so I took care of it. He was like, I got to find my wallet. So after we got done eating, we start retracing the places that we went. When we got back to my mom's house, it was out right there outside. It must have fell out when he opened the door. It was still right there at the curb. But what you look like and they look like if you didn't have anything.
That's right.
That's true.
And because Charlie too just mentioned this as well, she just stated social media has highlighted a lot of things that were previously what happens at home. So with a situation like that, I guarantee Pitbull did what she did. The brother, she got her money back.
I did.
But she didn't go out. She didn't go out and slander him though.
I didn't.
Which some people, as we talked about in the last show, would have went on Facebook and put him out there on Jump Street.
Yep. And wouldn't have told the whole story. I had to pay for dinner because he didn't have no money. Well, guess what? He lost his wallet. Like, don't do that. Don't do that. So yeah, we definitely gotta do a relationship show.
We do. Carter's #1 fan. Thank you for joining us on At the Roundtable Podcast Show by means of Instagram, CD.
He said, my wife is my queen, and I'll break my neck for her. Period.
Y'all slap. I ain't gonna hold you. Thank you. My social community. Thank you, sis. We trying. We are trying. We don't get all the hits like my brother said. Like the negativity, negative Nancy's and stuff. The Karens and things of that nature. We just out here trying to throw a little sunshine and talk a little dialogue.
That's right. And talk about the things that need to be talked about.
Absolutely.
Charlie too said, I'm so reckless, independent. My other half has the patience of Job to attempt a relationship with me.
Did you say Joe?
Job. That's
That brother
Job,
that
not
brother is
John.
amazing. That's what's
He
up.
is. Anybody who can love a strong Leo is a phenomenal person.
Phenomenal. Man, that is what's up. Well, family, check this out. It happens each and every time. We get into the meat of the matter. It be going hard. And then all of a sudden the time runs up on us. And I know you guys got a lot of more to say. He said he's a unicorn. Well, that's all right. That is all right. You take care of that unicorn.
That's
we got to
right.
meet him real soon.
That's right.
But yeah, y'all, we are coming up on that time in which we've got to get ready to go. I want to throw it out here to my brother and my sister to see if they have any closing remarks and everything before we close out, bruh.
Hey, I just want to thank the guests and the people for coming in, man. Because like I said, you all run the show, and thank you for taking the time out to support us and to share. And we look forward to seeing you again next week. Melly Mel.
Just again, thankful for the platform and the ability to speak freely. And to meet once a week with like-minded people, our family, our viewers, and my brothers. Charlie Twos, I will have my t-shirt by this weekend. Human Unlimited. I am getting that because it speaks volumes in so many ways for so many different things. Thank you. Terry said, update, I'm still pregnant and will pay for someone else to finish this last trimester for me. Sorry, sister. You got that.
My brother said, oh, no, my brother.
Oh, no. But I will be there for you. And whatever you need, if you hit me up and let me know, you get your dad to call me, whatever you need, I'm there for you to help you make it through, sis. Nisi.
I know that's right. Because that's what we are. We're a family, y'all. And I love the fact that we were able to bring this platform to you guys and tonight's topic rather. There's a lot of things that have been said on here. I want to express this to you guys. If you get a chance and you're watching this, share this with someone else. Share the show. We've got a lot of other shows that we've done, but here's the thing that we learned from it. Everybody has the opportunity to sit at the table and talk. The reason why we came up with that, the Roundtable Podcast Show, is to go back to our roots and our heritage in which the village gathered around the table so many times and they listened to the elders who dropped on them knowledge that came back from generations. The elders got a chance to sit at the table and look at the young ones and know that that is their legacy and that is the future that will hold up the legacy. This is the reason why we have At the Roundtable Podcast Show. Nobody's wrong, but there's a lot of right that can be brought to the table. All right. So if you get a chance, share it, love on each other, be a blessing to each other, and wait till next week. Oh, and baked turkey wings. Already in the works. Already in the works. And that's all I'm gonna say. But yeah. So family, thank you for joining us on again at the round table. We will join y'all once again because again, it's the People's Podcast where you are invited to the table, but you're not on the menu. Guess who said that, y'all?
Who?
Yes, she did. I love it. I love it. These two right here are amazing. So yeah, if you get a chance, join us. Share it. We want more topics like this and everything. And I know A Money probably got about 20 of them because of everything that was being said. Wow. Wait till next week, y'all. Wait till next week. So it's your boy CD.
Your man A Money.
And it's your girl, Miss Pitbull.
And we will see y'all again real soon. Y'all be blessed. Peace.
I think.